Welcome everybody to the SHL Network live on YouTube, live from Rosemont Ice Arena, the brand new facility. We've got the AHAI State playoff semifinals for the girls as Fenwick, the number 4 seeded team in this bracket, will take on the number 1 seed in the York Dukes in their first year of existence as a girls program. Dylan Ward alongside Anthony Pasquale. And Anthony, York ranked number 1 in the bracket, but did not win the Metro Girls playoff in their league. They're hoping to right that ship with a state title.
Absolutely they are, and they feature a lot of talent on this team, a well-deserved number 1 seed, but when you flip the script and look at Fenwick, this team is able to get back to the state semifinals without 8 players that left their program to play for this York squad. So we've got a little bit of a rivalry here on deck, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, should be real fun. Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, our great technical engineer. Matt Freeman, our camera operator. One more member of our crew, that's Rory Whetstone, down at ice level currently with head coach of the Friars, Mason Strong. Rory, go ahead.
Thank you guys. Coach, these two teams used to play as one. York splits away. How have you seen this group be able to create an identity this year and make a playoff push?
I think a lot of the new personalities that came in adjusted really well to the team. They're all good kids. The returning players really set the tone for the culture right away, starting with our goalie, Mikey Romero, and said, you know, this is what we're all about here at Fenwick. We come out, we play hard, and we have fun.
You mentioned that some kids were playing this morning, some don't see the ice as often. What has been reinforced in practice all week ahead of this game?
Just that we've played 21 games together this year, and nothing drastic has to change. Right? We don't have to reinvent the wheel or a new style of hockey tonight. We just stick with what's been successful for us and try to avoid the things that have not been successful for us.
Speaking of things to be successful, what do you see? What do you want to see from these girls right out the gate?
I want to see a hard effort, especially from the players that are on maybe game 2 today that skated in St. Louis this morning. I want to see just simple, calm hockey, and I want to see teamwork.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Rory. Rory Whetstone in her SHL Network debut. If you were following our state championship coverage on the boys' side of things on Instagram, you saw her with plenty of those mini mic interviews, but now gets to hop on the broadcast alongside myself, Dylan Ward, and Anthony Pasquale. Time is running out on the warm-up, but Rory makes a great point. York did not have a team before this season, so any girls that went to York High School would play on Fenwick, recognized as the Fenwick Friars, but technically a combined team. Now 7 players are on this York team that played for Fenwick last year, including the very notable Ella Scotty, who's York's leading scorer in just 15 games this season. 29 goals and 6 assists.
Yeah, and she had a hat trick in their game against Loyola in the quarterfinals, so certainly somebody to keep an eye on for York. The other thing that really intrigues me is the goalie matchup, because Emma Reichley is going to be the goaltender for York, and Mikey Romero is the goaltender for Fenwick. But last year, Mikey was Emma's backup, so they know everything about each other. They know how they like to play, so it'll be interesting to see those two between the pipes and how they perform tonight.
One more win to get to Allstate Arena, the state championship, which will be played on Sunday of this week at noon before a Wolves game. You can get tickets to a doubleheader for the Chicago Wolves game and the girls state championship game. The Wolves put on a really great show on Friday for the boys' side of things, so great to have that game at Allstate Arena. And speaking of the state championship, notice an absence in today's doubleheader of the Barrington Phillies.
Yep. Back-to-back
state champs in 23 and 24, lost in the final last year. They're definitely not used to having their season be over at this point.
Yeah, had it not been for York and had Barrington been in, it would have been the same exact Final Four as last season. But now York in the picture, and they have the 1 seed, and they're looking to win their first state title in their first year as a program.
The girls' helmets are off, and they're lined up at the goal line. We're moments away from turning it down to Sam Schwartz for the starting lineups.
To Rosemont Ice Arena for the high school girls semifinals. Today's game features the 4 seed Fenwick Friars versus the 1 seed York Dukes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to meet today's starting lineups. First for the visiting team, the Fenwick Friars. They are coached by Mason Strum. Here is his starting lineup. On to bat, number 7, Lyric Bessie. Also on the bat, number 10, Zoe Rose. At left wing, number 9, Elizabeth Boveri. At right wing, number 12, Kate Mulvihill. At center, number 18, Molly Wonderland. And in goal for the Friars, number 30, Michelina Romero. And the rest of the Fenwick Friars. And now the starting lineup for the home team, the York Dukes. They are coached by Ryan Walls. Here is his starting lineup. On the bat, number 4, Julia Metke. Also on the bat, number 87, Alexis Gorski. At left wing, number 12, Ellie Close. At right wing, number 16, Caitlin Dill. At center, number 7, Ella Scotty. And in goal for York, number 29, Emma Whiteley. Let's meet today's officials. The referees are Dan Nelson and Greg Elwanger. The linespeople are Joe Reinhofer and Brian Smolacek. Tonight's off-ice officials. The game timekeeper is Don Kagabine. The official scorer is Sam Schwartz. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise if you are able and willing and face the flag as we honor our country and those who serve with a recorded performance of the Star-Spangled Banner by Chicago Wolves soloist Wayne Mesmer.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
like a pregame ceremony conducted by the great Sam Schwartz. You saw the smiles on these girls' faces. They're not used to this type of thing, but hey, it's state semifinals. We go big.
Absolutely. It's really cool, too, that a lot of these girls have been playing together all their lives. Some of them now on the same team, some of them against some of their better friends that they grew up playing with. But now there's a little bit more on the line. It's not just any game, it's the state semifinals. You've got a chance to play at the Allstate Arena at stake today. So certainly a lot to be excited about.
Let's take a look at how each team got here. In the quarterfinal, Fenwick at home beat Burlington Central by a final score of 4-2. They dominated that one, Anthony, 53-14. The shots on goal. They scored 3 goals in 5 minutes 11 seconds in that second period to break the lead open. On the other side, York beating Loyola 3-0. Another dominant shot on goal here, 35-7. And you mentioned Ella Scotti with all 3 goals. That's about as natural of a hat trick as it gets. Riceley, not to mention, 7 for 7 in the shutout. Not a lot of saves, but she didn't have a blemish.
Yeah, absolutely. A shutout for her, which is grown to be something that they expect. A phenomenal goaltender, a 1.18 goals against average on the season with a save percentage that nears almost 93%. Really solid in between goal, and so is Romero on the other side of things.
Riceley is the starting netminder, 8-2-1 in the Metro Girls Hockey League this season. Mikey Romero on the other side, 8-3-2 in the regular season. Fenwick in white and black, York in the green and white. York going right to left on your screen here in the first period. Fenwick left to right here at the beautiful Rosemont Ice Arena. We are underway. We're about to find out who one of the 2 teams will be this Sunday at Allstate Arena playing for the title. Here's Gorski in her own zone for the Dukes. Plays it off the boards and gets it to Close. Close. And knock this one out. Puck stolen away from her by Kate Mulvihill. Near side corner, she's hitting to the boards and then goes crashing down on Gorski. Puck comes loose. Picked back up by York. And they'll break out with it. Here is Ella Scotti. Scotti, around 1, comes into the zone, onside. Scotti, 1-on-4 rush, finds a lane, takes a shot, and a big save made by Romero. Just goes to show you the skill Ella Scotti has in her bag.
Yeah, you know why she scored 3 goals the other day.
Former Fenwick Friar player before York branched out and made a program of their own. In fact, Fenwick was worried they weren't going to be able to field a team. They were on the verge of folding. For team manager of 14 years, Pam Flores, also vice president of the Metro Girls Hockey League, was able to make it happen through recruitment. And Fenwick remains out there to compete against these very same York Dukes. We talked to Mason Strom before the game. He said he's kind of doesn't know how to think about this because that's a bit of a rivalry playing your old players, but at the same time, these are players he's coached for 2 to 3 years, and he wants them to succeed, but at least for the next 2 hours or so, they're enemies.
Yeah, and it's not like there was like a big transfer portal and they chose to leave. It was just like they had a team that was formed for them. So obviously no hard feelings there, but both sides want to win this game.
2 minutes in, we've got 15-minute periods here in the state semifinals. Unlike the usual 13-minute periods the girls are used to playing, which 2 minutes doesn't sound like a lot at first glance, but 6 extra minutes in the game is a lot. DeZillo with a shot, that gets blocked. Puck comes to the high slot, punched back up to the point. Near side, DeZillo sent it down to the doorstep and just tipped wide off the stick of Claire Kotowitz. Now here's another shot from up high by DeZillo through a maze and never found its way. Fenwick will send this one down and it will be an icing.
Yeah, much needed clear for Fenwick. They were kind of on the ropes that possession with York really ferociously attacking the net. You look at this York team, 2 leading scorers. We mentioned Ella Scotti and Caitlin Dill. Those are 2 of the players that were on Fenwick last year. So Fenwick lost some of their best scorers and are still back in this position. But you can see why York is that #1 seed with just this pressure early on.
Attacking zone faceoff for the Dukes. Right circle draw. It's won by them. Gowis, high slot, sends a bouncer to the net. Deflecting and going behind the cage. Fenwick be able to play this one out, or at least try to. Not out of the zone yet. Below the line now. Fenwick wraps it around. Into the near side half wall, picked back up by the Dukes. Going down below the goal line for Schenkenberg. Getting in there is Clayton Chalberg for Fenwick, number 13 in white. And the Friars will now get clean possession for the first time in this defensive zone shift. Now brought in by Chalberg, gets around a man, goes to the backhand, tries to find the 5-hole of Riceley, and Riceley said no.
Outstanding save there, but a really good chance there from Chalberg.
Now this one's tipped in by Rose, taken back by Hess. She's looking to get that one up to Dill. She's taken down, no penalty.
Saw the arm go up for a second.
Yeah, that was the linesman. Another key thing here to note for the girls is usually they have a 2 official crew, but here in the state semifinals, you do have the 2 refs, 2 linesmen. Puck in the far side circle. Here's a shot, innocent looking one, but a pad save required by Romero. Now brought ahead by the Friars. Boveri can't get over the line cleanly, delayed offside here, and York will bring it out to nullify. Now neutral zone, Dill. Back into the zone by Fenwick as Boveri backhands it. Picked up by Mackey. Mulvihill pressuring. Mackey comes free with it, plays it off the far boards and out to Caitlin Dill. Fenwick. Out to the neutral zone again, off a helmet, and bounces right to the stick blade of Mulvihill. She'll send it in. Good pace to this one so far. A couple of good chances for each side. Still scoreless early on. Here is Ella Scotti. The 29 goal scorer in 15 games, Anthony, just a few decimal points shy of averaging 2 goals, not points, goals per game.
Yeah, outstanding. She, of course, led the Metro Girls Division in points per game at 2.33, but that's almost all goals. Almost 2 goals a game, just sensational all season long.
Rory Whetstone is down at ice level. Rory, what's the atmosphere like down there up at the glass?
Guys, you talked about it. York has been pressuring fast and often, and something you'll see is they've been looking for that backdoor goal. Now, that's been talked about on the Fenwick bench, how they need to be aware of that. But I think it's key to talk about how Mikey Romero has just been great in goal. After the seeding for the tournament, she had the highest save percentage in the league, just below .950, and it's showing off tonight.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think Mikey Romero is going to have to be Fenwick's best player tonight if they want to get past this York team.
Just 2 goals allowed in the quarterfinals against the Grizzlies. An .857 save percentage in that game specifically. Fenwick ended up losing in the Metro Girls semifinals, which was also just a single game by a final score of 6-0 to New Trier, who really got the best of them in that matchup. So they're looking for some revenge. Here they come. This pass just missed. It will go all the way down for icing. When you look at the 2 games these 2 teams have played against one another this season, 2 completely different results.
Oh, yeah.
On December 7th, a 1-1 tie, but on February 8th, one of the last regular season games, a 7-zip win for Fenwick.
Yeah, and we heard from head coach Ryan Walls of York that they were a little outnumbered in that game. Some of their star players weren't there, but I would argue Fenwick's been outnumbered all season long. They have a small roster. You'd be surprised that the team in their first season has 8 more players on the bench than the team that has 7 schools combined to make up the team. But that just shows what Fenwick has been able to accomplish this season.
Backhanded all the way down, just missing the cage. It will be another icing. 9:06 to go in the first. York leading shots on goal 3-1, but nothing past either netminder yet in the early going. We've got a doubleheader for you on the SHL network today. After this one, 8:25 start. Glenbrook taking on New Trier. Of course, the winner of this game will face the winner of that game.
Yeah, you might have the winners stick around just to get an early look at their potential next opponents.
Yeah, if not that, I know they'll be tuning in, if not live, maybe on demand, and a little film session leading into the game. And we're happy to be the narrators of that film session.
For sure.
Pass out to the neutral zone, tipped in. He's going to go for an icing, but playing it instead is Emma Riceley. To the near side, and out. Boveri in the neutral zone, has lots of green sweaters attacking her. Now a big collision down there near the penalty box, and out comes Mulvihill with a shot, and Riceley seeing that one all the way.
Mulvihill, one of the leading scorers for this Friars team, 11 goals, 14 assists on the season, has a playoff goal as well in that game against Burlington Central, the Grizzlies, like you mentioned. She kind of got the scoring going and really took some pressure off of their team, and they all responded very well to that opening goal.
Those two teams, big rivals as well. We've seen them on the SHL Network in the rivalry series. Here comes York. Ella close, left wing side, trying to find a lane, gets it to the blue paint. Open for a deflection from Scotty, but no luck. This one backhanded all the way down again. And another icing.
Yeah, really good vision there from Scotty and Close there on the 2-on-1. Close knew that she was too close to Scotty, so she decided to branch out to the left, try to make it tougher for the defender to choose one or the other and let the goaltender have to move post to post. Unfortunately, the pass was just a little bit late, and Scotty couldn't corral it to score a goal, but Scotty's everywhere on this ice. I would not be surprised to see a tie broken from her.
Finally able to wear a York Duke sweater after playing for Fenwick, but attending York High School. York looking to advance to the state championship in their first season of existence at the girls level. The boys team, state finalists 2 of the last 4 years.
I was going to say something special about York in March.
Here comes a 2-on-1 Schallberg to the near side. Pazdo, and a save made by Riceley with the left pad. Now getting free with it is Pazdo again, sending it back up to the point. Now near side for Lyle. Lyle eludes one check, then gets it back up top. Novak puts on the brakes again. Novak nearly got her pocket picked, and York get the breakaway they were hoping for from that, but will bring it into the zone.
Yeah, savvy from Addison Romano, the stick lift, and then able to tie her up so that she wasn't able to recover the puck. York gets possession, stalwarting what was probably Fenwick's best rush of the game.
They'll try and get something going again. Here's Madison Straukas dumping it in. And Julia Matke, former Friar. Knocked right back in again by Fenwick. Matke, 2 assists in that 3-0 victory over Loyola last round, but it's picked off by Fenwick again. Elizabeth Boveri. Nice no-look drop off to Mulvihill. Back up to the point. Here's a shot off the stick of Zoe Rose, but just wide of the net. Now Ledoux can't hang on to it. Mulvihill with it back. Off the boards, intended to get that one up to Rose, and eventually does. She'll knock it into the near side corner. Boveri. Now Wunderlich. Puck goes right in front of the blue paint. Nearly trouble, but Ledoux gets her stick in the way. Won't get it out of the zone, though. It's like the York players thought they heard a whistle, and Anthony, to be completely honest, I thought I heard something too.
I don't know what it was. Everybody kind of stopped. Nice catch there by Coach Strom. Everybody kind of stopped except Mulvihill, and then Mulvihill had the puck on her stick kind of right away, but no harm, no foul now.
Yeah, nice save there by Mason Strom, as you pointed out, Anthony.
Yeah.
Quick reaction, and there's a bit of a smile from the Fenwick head coach. As we get back to work, the neutral zone draw is taken by the Friars. They're into the zone. This is Straukas with a shot, and Riceley made it look easy.
Certainly made it look easy, able to stop that one in the trapper. Another save there for Riceley. She's off to a really good start. You look at this Fenwick team now, look at how few players there are on that bench. We are seeing the same units over and over again. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep their legs to keep up with this York team come the third period.
These are longer games as well, and those 6 minutes will add up quickly when you have a short bench, no doubt about that.
I guess the addition of the intermission could be a huge storyline as well.
That's very true. Usually these girls just play right through, but we are going to have a second period intermission. The teams will go back to the locker rooms, and the ice will be resurfaced. Here's Zazillo through the neutral zone, gets around one, draws a penalty, Tripping will be the call, and the game's first power play belongs to the Dukes.
Yeah, pretty easy to spot there. Chalberg just got the stick in the skating lane.
13 Fenwick, tripping, 2-minute minor.
Here straight from the linesman there, the call. York's gonna go on the power play.
So tripping the call, as you heard from the ref Mike, against Claire Chalberg. York on the power play in that 3-0 quarterfinal victory, just 0 for 1. They didn't have a whole lot of chances. Also in those 2-game season series between these two teams, they're 0 for 4. Gonna get something cooking and score the first goal of the game. Oh, Fenwick making it difficult. Mulvihill, the nice back check, and now Mackey off the boards for Ella Scotty. You know, she's a threat on this man advantage. Scotty through the neutral zone. Mulvihill cuts her off, and she'll have to retreat. Now Scotty gets around one checker, and up to Bird. Over the line with a shot, and turned away by the blocker of Romero. Now near side corner aboard battle, coming free with it is Scotty. Up top, she's gonna wanna take a shot here. She does, and a save made by Romero again. And on the rebound, Fenwick fires at the length.
And it also seems like the Fenwick crowd kind of willing this penalty killing unit. They're about halfway through.
A nice in-person audience and a nice virtual audience. We're happy to provide that for you. Here's Scotty around one. Scotty with some stick handles, takes a shot, big rebound, and unable to put it home were 2 York Dukes. Fenwick can't get it out of the zone though. Caitlin Dill gets her pocket picked, and Fenwick's Molly Wunderlich will send it all the way down.
Wunderlich is like a Swiss Army knife for this Fenwick squad. Easily the tallest player out on the ice. Does it defensively and offensively, as you saw it right there.
I'm gonna say she's wearing my lucky number 2, number 18. Big fan of that one.
Coincidentally, 18 points on the season as well.
There you go. Now it's close with just 16 seconds suddenly remaining on this York power play. Close all the way to the goal line, tries a shot, tough angle, save made, rebound is also stopped. Right at the doorstep there was Riley Hess. And a big save made by Romero. Penalty is over, and joining the action is Chalberg. Big time kill there by the Friars. Anthony, 4 shots on goal on that power play. Now delayed offside here will stop action, and a neutral zone face-off looms.
What a job there from the Fenwick penalty killing unit. Certainly got the crowd involved as well.
Chalberg ran into Hess and knocked her over. Obviously, unintentionally, she comes right back over there to say, my bad. A lot of these players, former Friars on this York team, but a lot of these players play with each other on their club teams as well. Something unique about the girls' high school hockey season, it's significantly less games, but a big reason for that is a majority of these players are also playing for club teams. We heard head coach of the Friars, Mason Strom, saying a couple of his girls out there had a game this morning in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's totally a different animal, the club versus the high school level, especially like when you compare it to the boys side of things. It's a totally different ball game.
Now this is Romano on the right wing side, pocket picked, and based on what I just said, you see Greta Lyle with the puck there. She's got the red helmet and red gloves. It's pretty much a dead giveaway if you ever see anyone out there with helmet and gloves that don't match the uniform, sometimes even the pants. They are borrowing that equipment from another team. Here's a pass to Hess. She takes a shot and a big save. What a pass by Samantha Drillette to get it to her, but another huge save made by Mikey.
Romero has been fantastic in this opening frame.
This is a great angle of a stop, just absorbs it. No rebound, and that's the key.
Guys, you just saw a couple of those players go and fist bump Romero real quickly just to talk about the excellence that she has displayed on the ice tonight. These girls are tired. You see it on their faces as they're coming off the bench. You see it in the way they're starting to skate. But as the period winds down, they're finding some momentum. But on the bench, you see that they're still keeping those positive spirits up as well. Huge rounds of applause for killing that penalty, and they've got each other's backs out there.
Yeah, as we're down to sub 2 minutes here in the first period. In a regular season game, the first period would already be over.
Right. Probably that fatigue starts to set in, just being like, we're out here just a little bit longer than usual.
You talk about Romero as a goaltender. Luciana Pilati, the backup, is injured. She's on the bench with her mask and jersey on, but no pads. So all the pressure on Romero to get this job done here for Fenwick. Still no goals in the game. Here's Dill picking this one loose, as we're moments away from Sam Schwartz's announcement to let us know how much time is left in period number 1. This one's centered right in front, bounces up top to Zillow, fires, and another pad save made by Romero. Another shot, this one goes wide, off the boards, picked up at the blue line. And now the far boards and out, here comes Fenwick. At the end of a long shift, Elizabeth Boveri just dumps it in and changes. DeZillo. Back up to Vogel, now Burr brings it in. Sophia Burr over the line, right wing side. As that puck down into the near side corner, and Fenwick knocks it free. Madison Straukas. Around the boards again, it finds Natalie Pazdo right in front of her own bench. By the way, you can see one of the Fenwick players is limping off right near you, Rory. Trying to figure out that might be 22, Gabrielle Nitty.
It is, guys. It is number 22. She is in some obvious pain, came off in a lot of distress. It seems to be that it's her knee. It looks like they're trying to see if she can put any pressure on it, but I've got, once I get an update, I can send that right back to you guys.
Rory, we appreciate that, and obviously it's been a theme of this first period. The short bench for Fenwick, not ideal to lose someone. As the buzzer sounds on period number 1, 15 minutes have come and gone, and no score between Fenwick and York.
Yeah, that first period was a lot of fun. My initial thoughts from just watching it is that the York squad looks just like a step faster than the Fenwick squad, but Fenwick is bringing all of the energy in this contest right now, from the crowd side and on the bench. So it'll be exciting to see how this game unfolds, especially as we get into the second period, which you got to cover a little bit more ground on the ice to get those changes done, which is going to be something to keep an eye on for Fenwick.
Anthony, you might not expect a scoreless first period between these two teams. Some of the better offenses in the entire state. York, with a plus 42 goal differential, averaged 4.2 goals per game. The other side, Fenwick, a plus 38 goal differential, averaged 3.7 goals per game. And even with a bit of a longer first period, 0-0 after 15 minutes.
Yeah, easily the two best players on the ice so far have been Riceley and Romero. They've been phenomenal in net, making some huge saves. Romero, especially on that penalty kill, some of the stops that she made, even on the rebounds, you probably left York scratching their heads as to how did we not get that goal across. But we're going to head into the second period all square.
Look at these two alternate intermission tactics. You've got on the Fenwick side Mason Strom on the ice with the dry erase board showing his team sitting on the bench. And then on the York side, you had Ryan Walls on the bench with the entire roster out on the ice. A bit of an inversion there.
Yeah, I wonder if from the Fenwick side, it's let's give our girls just a little bit extra rest and let them sit. And on the York side, they have too many players. If they're all on the bench, there's not enough room, so they kind of have to be out there. But just a great kind of microcosm of the two rosters we have in front of us today.
We appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Monday night. Dylan Ward, myself, alongside Anthony Pasquale up here in the booth, and Rory Whetstone at ice level. Matt Freeman, our camera operator. Anthony, how could we forget? Jimmy, the Whiz, Olsen in his personal broadcasting finale of the hockey season.
Wow. Kudos to Jimmy on another sensational season.
Well, we got about 5 more periods at least, so hopefully we don't jinx anything. Nothing goes wrong over there, Jimmy. Cracks a smile over there. We're going to switch sides. Period of the long change for those of you who are new to hockey. since you change on the fly, switching sides actually makes a huge difference. In this second period, your bench is on your offensive half of the ice. So if you get stuck in your defensive zone and you can't get a line change, that could really hurt you, especially on the Fenwick side. York gets right to work with a quick shot, and Romero makes the save. Now Gorski again. This time it's blocked by Lyric Besley.
Really tricky save. Romero able to handle it and control the rebound for the most part, which is a huge part of being a goaltender.
Now delayed offside here. Stops action. Hot start there by the York Dukes to period number 2. They lead shots on goal 10-4 in the game. Although Fenwick, with only 4 shots, have had 2 or 3
pretty good
say
chances.
grade A shots.
Yeah.
And forced a difficult save from Emma Riceley.
Yeah, I feel like we've called Riceley's name more than 4 times for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Dill to Scotty in the slot. What a move. Scotty goes to the backhand. What a stop by Romero as the net comes off. Gets a whistle and stops the Metro Girls Hockey League leading scorer with a beautiful save.
I mean, you could talk so much about this whole play. First of all, what a move to free up, get to the backhand, and then Romero almost in a complete split denies with the pad. That was just a sensational hockey play.
Rory, you must have had a great view of that save.
Guys, I can't tell you enough how impressive Ella Scotty is to watch. You just see the stick handling, the back and forth, the way she's been able to weave around these Fenwick players, and it's not the first time she's done it all game. She's inching closer to finding that first goal tonight.
Averaging just a few ticks under 2 goals per game on the season. Here's a shot from the point. That's stopped by Romero. A hat trick in the AHAI State quarterfinal game, the first round to get here to Rosemont.
Yeah, when you talk about great goal scorers, even some of the best, a lot of times it's a matter of if they're going to score. But with Scotty, it almost feels like a matter of when.
The aforementioned Ella Scotty, number 63, will try another shot. This one she didn't get a lot on it. It goes just wide of that right post. Fired all the way down on the rebound by Fenwick, and icing waved off as just getting to the puck before crossing the line was Scotty. Ledoux, as this shot just goes wide. Now York will bring it back up. Ella Scotty, she's at the end of a long shift here. See if she has anything left in the tank. Scotty takes a lap behind Fenwick's net, tries to throw it in front for close, picked off by the Friars, and they will send this one down, and it will be an icing. Of course, here at the high school level and any youth hockey, before you get to juniors, you are allowed to change after you've iced the puck, which is a big rule difference and changes a lot about the strategy. Yeah,
it definitely does. In the NHL and some of those other higher levels, you see it as just, we need a breather. It's not almost strategic as much as it is, our guys are exhausted and we need a break. But in this level, you're able to make that change, so it becomes a little bit more of a strategic option.
Novak here in the Fenwick zone. He'll play it off the far boards and out to the neutral zone. Battled for. Eventually sent back in. Novak goes across, and this is Greta Lyle. Off the far boards, picked up onside by Chalberg. Chalberg goes over to Lyle. Lyle, nice move, gets rid of a shot, sort of fanned on it, and it comes in for an easier save made by Riceley. Now back up top. Near side, Novak fires away and absorbed right into the white Y. Front and center of the green York jersey. .12:42 to go in the second. Still waiting for our first goal here in Rosemont.
It's got a playoff feel to it.
It really does.
You got the 0-0 almost midway through the second here. Certainly a playoff atmosphere.
This brand new Rosemont Ice Arena facility just across the street from Allstate Arena, where one of these 2 teams will have a game this weekend on Saturday at noon. Also a new practice facility for the Chicago Wolves, who are hosting the state championships this season. There's Boveri, near side corner. She slams into the board and is hurting, laboring to get back up. Here's a shot that gets blocked, and now good news is she's able to get up, pass this one ahead for Mulvihill. She'll head to the bench. Mulvihill into the zone, takes the shot and blocked by a stick. that was going to be a worse injury than it appeared to be, but still, we'll keep an eye on her as time goes along. Here's Mulvihill with a steal, trying to shot, and that's blocked in close.
Yeah, whenever you see a player grab the head immediately, you certainly raise an eyebrow and start to get concerned, but quickly back up to her feet, able to make a play on the puck and get to the bench under her own power, so we'll keep an eye on her.
This shot just sails wide off the stick of Bessie. Now on the far side, it's Zoe Rose. Below the goal line, puck knocked over to the far side half wall. Played back up top. Lyric Bessie with a shot, and tracking it all the way was Emma Riceley. She'll hold on for another whistle as we get another stoppage. 11:23 to go in the second.
Yeah, you mentioned it really early in the game that this game had some good pace to it. And I'd say that has continued even into the second period. We've had a lot of action. We've had a lot of kind of speed and intensity out there on the ice. And I think the greatest example of that is the fact that we're still deadlocked at 0.
These two teams just nearly a month ago today, 1 month and 1 day ago, Fenwick with a 7-0 victory over these York Dukes. The end of the regular season. Dill centered it right in front, tapping away, hoping for a rebound is Ellie Close, and standing tall is Mikey Romero.
Really good save from Romero, and then the rebound was right there. Close was already down to a knee, it looked like, but she still had a chance to maybe hit it through the 5-hole. Let's see if we get a good angle here. The puck is still loose now, and then Romero quickly able to pounce on the rebound and draw a whistle. She's been so good so far.
As we're back underway now, York keeps it from exiting the zone. Here's a shot that's blocked by Rose. She plays it to the near side for Bessie. Sent all the way down, and this will be an icing by Fenwick.
You know, we talked about it, but maybe one of the biggest beneficiaries of some of the York players leaving this Fenwick program is Romero. It gave everybody a chance to see what she could do with a starter's workload at the varsity hockey level, because she was Riceley's backup last year. Now we see her performing as good as we've seen her on a stage like this.
Mulvihill tries this one free off the face-off circle. Will knock this one into the zone. Now Mulvihill loses an edge, and York will play it out. Look out here. Odd man rush as who else but Ella Scotty leads the charge. Gets around one, makes a move, and scores! Was it any surprise? Ella Scotty gets the scoring started. It's 1-0 Dukes.
Like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Ella Scotty breaks through on a breakaway here. Kind of a busted play when Mulvihill lost the edge on her skate. Gets to the backhand, sneaks it past Romero, and you see the York bench, they are loving it. They're up 1-0.
Metro girls season and playoffs combined, that'll be her 33rd goal of the year.
All 4 of York's playoff goals, too.
Guys, down at ice level, I know you talked about it, but it wasn't a matter of if, it was when. You saw the little drag, the stick handling. She explodes to the goal. She's all smiles coming back to the bench to fist bump with her teammates.
For Romero, when you have number 63 in green coming at you one-on-one, you just hold your breath.
And Bessie, I love the aggression there. She knew that I'm not going to wait for this to become a 2-on-0. I need to try to get the puck away. Scotty was just too savvy, and Bessie just a step late recovering.
Now York will come back up. It's Ellie Close. Backhanding this one in, goes down below the goal line, off the boards, and trying to cover that one up, but just missing the puck was Romero. Sam Schwartz announcing the game's opening goal. Ella Scotty, assisted by Ellie Close. Now Scotty wants another one, and had space to tuck that one home, but the puck just rolled on her. Scotty still with it. Gets around one, then another. Scotty all the way, tried to go for the same move, but couldn't pull it to her forehand this time. Gorski keeps it in the zone at the blue line, tried to send it deep, but Fenwick intercepts, and they'll take the icing here. In the period of the long change, they'll get a chance to change them up. Maybe not. The icing waved off as that puck.
Still enough time to
the
change,
brakes,
though.
yeah.
I think they still did get the fresh legs out there.
Fenwick looking for a response. This one centered back door, and it's tucked home. Elizabeth Boveri with the backhand finish. And just a minute and a half after York opened the scoring, we're back to all even.
What an answer. Libby Bavaria gets it right on the doorstep, hesitates for a moment before dropping it in with the backhand, gets it past Riceley. Just a sensational job by Fenwick to respond. It felt like everything was tilted in York's favor. Not anymore.
So how fitting, each team's leading scorer on the board, and it's 1-1 here in period number 2 with still plenty of hockey to go. Now this one's played out to the neutral zone. Now York looking to get back on top. Here's a shot that gets blocked off the stick of Sophia Berg, and we're going to get a penalty cross-checking the call. And we're going to see another power play here.
Good job there by Fenwick to kind of turn a
York 34, 2-minute cross check.
really turned a York rush into a Fenwick power play. I believe it was Zoe Rose, who drew the penalty, and you saw Berg even after the whistle looking back at Rose like she accomplished it. Now Fenwick, who had all the momentum against them about 30 seconds ago, has a goal on the board and a chance to add one here on the power play.
Fenwick did not have a single opportunity in that quarterfinal. 0 for 0 on the man advantage. They're 1 for 3 in 2 games against the Dukes this season. In that 1-1 tie, their one goal was on the power play. Now up top, here's a shot. That's blocked by Dill. Fenwick retrieves it, gets it back up to the left point. Here's Bessie, gets her pocket picked, and Ella Scotti is gonna have a short-handed breakaway, and a big save made by Romero. Stopped her that time, and Fenwick will get back to work on the man advantage.
We've seen Scotty go to that backhand, I think 3 or 4 times now already. That time she decided not to, and Romero makes the stop.
Now one of the York players hit into the boards, and we're gonna see another penalty against Fenwick this time. Bessie will have a seat, and the Friars power play is cut short. We'll see some 4-on-4 hockey.
Yeah, really tough. Bessie had a kind of a tough start to that advantage. She lost the puck at the blue line, which freed up Scotty for the breakaway, then commits the penalty there. But Fenwick trying to use some of that momentum still and not just let it tilt back into York's favor, which of course could have happened had they netted the shorthander.
So 4-on-4, you don't see a whole lot as coincidental minors at this level keep it 5-on-5. See if the open ice benefits either team more than the other. Here's Chalberg. He's taken down, and out comes York. This one's knocked ahead by Ledoux.
I was going to say, giving Scotty some more space could certainly be a benefit, but she's not out there to start this because she was a part of that penalty kill for the first 40 seconds or so.
Maybe we'll see her at the tail end. Now around one, taking a shot, and scoring is Natalie Pazdo. What a solo effort, and Fenwick, with 2 unanswered, has their first lead of the night.
That was awesome. Pazdo looked like she was trying to decide whether or not to dump it in and chase it herself or to just thread the needle. She decides the latter, gets all the way to the net and puts it behind the glove side of Riceley. Such an impressive goal, and Fenwick quickly up 2-1.
Talk about the 3 goals we've seen in this game. All 3 have been highlight reel, to say the least.
Pazdo's first goal of the season.
Wow. You wouldn't expect that with those hands.
Not with that move.
Yeah, just 4 assists in the regular season and the overall season at that. First one off her stick and into the net. Gotta be a good feeling, especially the weight of this game and that goal. So now Fenwick in control. Still a tight game, but York has the pressure on them.
even with the goal, they stay 4-on-4 until the penalties expire, which is another interesting aspect of it because you would assume York would just become on the power play now.
Now here's a steal. Here's Boveri looking for a second. This one just flutters wide. First penalty is over, and York comes out of the box. So now it is a short York power play. 0 for 1 in the game, but this will be a much shorter advantage. Here's Julia Matkey. Near side for Alexis Gorski. Intercepted at the blue line. Here's Wunderlich, left side circle, finds her man, takes a shot off the stick of Rose, and that just goes wide. Now York gets the puck back. Fenwick still pressuring shorthanded, and well, it was not a long power play, but still 40 seconds is a decent amount of time for York to not even have the puck in their attacking zone.
Fenwick, a really good job. They certainly took control here.
Now Lyle, inside, intercepted by the Dukes. Here's Caitlin Dill with a shot. I think a piece of the glove was Romero. Now the net is off. She's trying to show the official. Ella Scotti with a move, and the play finally blown dead, as that goal wouldn't have counted anyway. You can see here, she doesn't intentionally push the net off.
That could iron.
Just the save.
Oh, glove.
She doesn't intentionally push the net off initially, but then kind of does give it
once it was off, she was like, hello, it's off.
To make it clear, right.
Looks like
you gotta be
Gravenson.
careful for that, because you can get a penalty.
Yeah, but initially it wasn't intentional.
Exactly.
Obviously, they wouldn't have been able to see that from here, but we saw it, and they didn't catch it for probably 5 or 6 good seconds of it being open like that.
So now with 5:15 to go in the second period, again, you talk about the length of the periods here for these games. We would be nearing the end of the second already. We play on and still have a lot of time for things to happen here in this middle frame. Dylan Ward, Anthony Pasquale, Rory Whetstone with you here from Rosemont Ice Arena. Here's a nice pass and a shot. Goes high of the net. Hess with a nice pass to find Vogel, and Vogel tried to get it back, but it's taken first by Novak.
Novak with a really nice block, too, on that shot. Really good defensive sequence from 4 and White.
Ella Scotti opened the scoring. Elizabeth Boveri tied it, and Natalie Pazdo made it 2-1. All of that happened here in period number 2 after a scoreless first. Shots on goal 15-8 in favor of York, the #1 seed in this girls bracket, the Illinois State playoffs. With only 14 high school girls teams in the state, there is just one division, unlike some other sports where you'll see perhaps a 4A, 3A, different brackets down the line.
Right.
So this is it. This is the state championship. Now, running around the net is Dill, centering it in front. Here's the shot by Scotti, and what a save by Romero. Wow.
I mean, I feel like you could say what a save by Romero on repeat all evening long. This net was wide open and Romero shut the door. I don't know how she was able to. I don't know how York didn't come away with a goal there, but what a stop, and Fenwick continuing to ride that momentum. Scotti was in alone.
I'll tell you what, to make that save against anyone is a what a save moment. And she stops Ella Scotti there.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredible. Romero is certainly earning her stripes today.
Now a bit of a discussion over at the Fenwick bench. Head coach Mason Strom talking to one ref, one linesman. Not sure what that could be about, but looks like it got sorted.
Yep, good to go.
Face-off taken by York. Dill back up to the point. Gorski keeps it in at the right point. Sends it down low. Picked back up by Fenwick. Lyle goes off the boards to Rose. Picked off by York again. Here's Scotti with a shot and getting a piece of that with the stick, maybe the knob of the stick. That was Romero.
Yeah, I think Lyle might have blocked it initially, and then off the deflection, all Romero had left was the stick and just kind of shoveled it toward the boards.
Wunderlich out to the neutral zone. York just tags up in time, but Fenwick will get it back. Rose, long stretch pass, looking to get that one to Natalie Pazdo for a breakaway. Great effort there, but it missed her stick and will go for an icing instead.
This has been a really, really fun period of hockey. You've seen pretty much everything you could be looking for. Short-handed chances, a couple of power plays. We've seen 3 goals, some outstanding saves, some of the state's best on display right here, and we've got a front row seat.
2:59 to go before there will be an ice cut, which is unusual here for the girls. And it's not just the break in the locker room, but it's the fresh ice coming back out after.
Yeah, and maybe those extra 4 minutes that they cut it up is a factor as to why you do the ice cut, since the periods are a little bit longer. But either way, I think there will be a little bit of an adjustment. Fresh legs, fresh ice, something that they're not used to in the middle of a game.
Can York tie this one up before that point? Can Fenwick get some insurance? We've got 2.5 minutes to determine that. As Claire Kodowitz gets the puck knocked off her stick, goes across, and knocked in off the far boards. Kodowitz swoops in there with a retreat.
Net's off.
Good catch there, Anthony, as they'll fix it up again.
Every time Romero slides post to post, it comes off slightly, and then she nudges it so that people can see it. But it looks like they're having problems with that far side right post, that Romero, it can't keep it on the, it's a magnet, right? They can't keep the magnet on right there. And I wonder if maybe it's because that snow is starting to pile up over there. It's harder to get that connection done. But it looks to be sturdy once again.
Yeah, they don't have the full pegs like they do in the NHL, where they actually drill deep holes into the ice to send it in. And Anthony, I'm not sure if you knew this fact, but we'll get to that in a second here as York has something going. Here's a shot on the left side. That takes a deflection and goes down below the net. But back in the day in the NHL, Kalianis, the net's off again. Back in the day in the NHL, Anthony, the nets used to actually be drilled into the ice and had no give. So if a player crashed into the net at all, the net's not coming off. And in the NHL, they've got better technology than they do here at these rinks, but still, it comes off if you go crashing into it.
Is that why they made that adjustment?
Yes,
so that players would stop hurting themselves, crashing all the way into the...
Yep.
Interesting. I did not know that. I have seen some highlights, though, where, like, you know, they trip and whatever, go into the net and just, like, hit the net and bounce back.
Right. All right, we're sub 100 seconds now. 2-1 game in favor of Fenwick, who is the 4 seed. Here, this 1-4 matchup. Here's a shot, big save, rebound hits the side of the net, and the net comes off its moorings, but Romero had nothing to do with that one.
No, Romero made an outstanding save, and just sprawling to stop the next one, the net came off. Now the officials are taking a look at it. I wonder if there's any type of discussion. I mean, they would have to determine that she was doing it on purpose if there was going to be any type of call made. Obviously, that one, clear as day, not on purpose. But certainly causing a bit of a delay here late in the second period. I don't view it as a tactic to catch their breath or anything like that. Certainly it could be, but this feels just more of like the net's coming off. Like, that's all it is.
And the York bench getting some kind of explanation.
I could see them being frustrated with it.
Totally. I mean, the play is being blown dead when it, in theory, shouldn't be. Rory, you got something down there?
Guys, from what I could pick up from the refs coming over, they were reassuring the York bench that this is not on Romero, that she's not doing this on purpose. You can see the frustration from the York players who would assume that. It looks like they were trying to explain that it is due to that snow buildup, but I couldn't hear them quite word for word.
Thanks so much, Rory. Currently stationed right down next to the York bench.
Yeah, Romero's working on the net now to get it steady.
Let the plays away from her. This shot is deflected high. Final minute of play in period number 2 before the teams will take a break in the locker room. Here's Mulvihill with the shot, and I believe Isley did make the save there.
I think Romero's going to be the most excited player to switch back to the other end of the ice.
Now here comes York. This is Sophia Berg with a shot, and that's blocked in close by Rose. Now out to DeZillo. Down to 33 seconds. Offside on this zone entry against York.
See, that's the drawback of the long change is that when you're on offense, it's the short change, and some of the bench is in the zone, so you could change and already be offside before your skate even hits the ice.
And that is typical, especially at these public facilities, unlike Allstate Arena and every NHL rink, which we'll see those rules come into effect this weekend, but the penalty boxes and the official score are on the same side as the benches, which of course makes a huge gap.
Makes the bench
in
go
between
further.
The benches, where in the NHL you just pretty much have nothing, maybe a little spot for a sideline reporter, but that's it.
Right.
Now this one's frozen. 10.4 on the clock in the second period. Shots on goal now 19-9, 10-5 in the period for the York Dukes, but Fenwick with 2 goals on 5 shots here in the middle frame.
Yeah, and Romero's a huge reason why York doesn't have more. They've had some point-blank opportunities. They've had a breakaway. They've had one right on the doorstep with a wide-open net, and Romero, up to the challenge, has made some huge saves in this period.
Talk about making the saves they're supposed to make. She's made a lot of saves that she's not supposed to make.
And that's the difference on the scoreboard right now, or lack thereof.
50-50 puck. Comes back up top, poked out of the zone. Dill will hang on to it. And there's the buzzer on period number 2. So, 30 minutes in the books here in Rosemont after a scoreless first. Some action here in the second. 2-1 lead for Fenwick as the teams will make their way into the locker room for an intermission.
Yeah, that was a fun period to watch. Just outstanding goaltending, especially Romero's side of things. She made some unbelievable saves, but we saw the offense pick up a little bit. Some great chances from Scotty. She's been all over the ice. Fenwick nets 2 goals, and we've got all the makings for a storybook third period.
Well, don't you dare go anywhere. It's going to be a good finish here on the SHL Network. Fenwick with a 2-1 lead over York. 15 minutes away from Allstate Arena and the state championship game. We'll see if they can close it out or if York can stage a comeback on the other side of an ice cut. Like the players, we'll take a breath too. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for third period action shortly. gets rid of the shot. Lyle Westwood gets rid of the shot. Top. Right side, Novak. Fires away. Top. Bessie with the shot. Welcome back to the SHL Network, everybody. We've got the Girls High School State semifinals. 1 period to go. Fenwick with a 2-1 lead over the York Dukes. Dylan Ward and Anthony Pasquale up here in the booth, alongside Rory Whetstone, who's down at ice level right now with York's head coach, Ryan Walls.
Coach, trailing 2-1 at the end of 2, what adjustments need to be made in the third period?
Well, the goalie's seeing the shots, so we got to make sure we take away the goalie's eyes, get some traffic in front of the net, hop on the rebounds. So just got to bury one here early.
You're winning the offensive zone. We've seen some excellent plays from Ella Scotty. What gives you the confidence that this team and these girls can turn it around these last 15 minutes?
They believe in themselves. They're confident. They know they can do it. They're getting a little gripping the sticks a little bit too tight, a little bit in the offensive zone, but they got to use each other, communicate, and we'll get one here quick.
Thank you. Up to you guys.
Thanks, Rory. Well, the Zamboni has just completed its final lap. The officials are back on the ice, and the girls are moments away from coming back. Jimmy the Wiz Olsen, our great technical engineer, and Nat Freeman on camera. Anthony, this has been a great game so far.
Yeah, and I love the confidence there from Coach Ryan Walls to say, hey, we're scoring and we're scoring quick. Like, this is how we're going to start this third period. And with some of the offensive threats that they have, Ella Scotty, Caitlin Dill, you certainly believe him, especially with the way they've been playing. But he brings up a brilliant point. One of the reasons that Mikey Romero has been able to make all of these stops, she can see all of these pucks. She's not the tallest, she's not the biggest, she's not filling up the net as well as some other goaltenders do just because of her size, but she's making these stops because her angles have been perfect and she's seeing the pucks. So expect York to throw some more bodies in front of the net, crash the net better, and make it even tougher on Romero to make some of those stops.
For those of you scoring at home, 18 for 19 is a cool 947 save percentage through 2 periods. We talk about how these girls don't get the intermission in the regular season. They do here in the state semifinals. It's not only the rest, but it's also the fresh ice that makes a big difference here in the game. We'll see if that helps either team, especially with Fenwick with a bit of a short bench. I would have to think it benefits them.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could hear the argument the other side of the thing too, because I feel like York would have a decent chance to use some of the newfound space and fresh ice to their advantage because they have such skilled skaters on their team. Not going to be disrupted by any of that snow, which is kind of the way we saw York start the first period with so much energy and pressure on Fenwick. So we've got all the makings for a really good third period coming up between a program that was united 365 days ago. Now they're squaring off for a chance to play at the Allstate Arena.
No scoring in the first period with 10:22 to go in the second. Ella Scotty opened things up, assisted by Ellie Close. And just a few minutes later, 8:42 remaining in the second period. Elizabeth Boveri, assisted by Lyric Bessie, tied things up for Fenwick. And then just a minute and a half after that, 7:02 to go in the second period. Natalie Pazdo, how about her? First goal of the season. Couldn't have come at a better time, and what a goal it was. Assisted by Claire Chalberg and Greta Lyle.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal goal. Honestly, you mentioned it after that third goal was scored. Every goal we've seen has been like highlight reel, posted on the, like these have been great goals. And that just goes to show you the talent level that we have here in these state semifinals. We have some of the best players that the state has to offer.
Beautiful goals, beautiful saves as well.
Yep.
It's not just the number of saves, it's the quality saves. I mean, right now for me, Mikey Romero is the MVP of this game. She's come up with 18 showstoppers. Yeah,
and we talked too about how with Fenwick having to lose some of their best players, Mikey Romero among them, heading over to York, as a part of this effort to just grow women's hockey, and are seeing it firsthand of how important that is on a day like today.
Sorry, Anthony. We're back to our first period shooting sides, and we're going to have a penalty 5 seconds into the third. The Curb Your Enthusiasm music plays, and we'll hear the call from the referee.
York 15, hooking, 2-minute minor.
So to the box goes Tatiana Kalianis, and Fenwick will have their second opportunity on the power play. Their first look It was only about 40 seconds before it was cut short and turned into a 4-on-4. They're hoping for the full 2 here.
Yeah, just not the way that they wanted to start this period. We talked to Coach Walls, and he said, we want to start this period with a quick goal. Instead, they started with a quick penalty. Now Fenwick has a chance to really get in the driver's seat.
This one's picked off. Ella Scotti had a great shorthanded bid earlier, tries to pass across, but a great defensive effort by Lyric Bessie, getting her skating away.
Bessie has been on an island, I think, 3 times with Scotty, and that was the first one that she completely handled perfectly. Kudos to her for just kind of figuring out what Scotty is trying to do out there.
Mulvihill, now Boveri with a shot save, rebound, they score! It's tucked home! Kate Mulvihill cleaning up the loose change, and it's 3 unanswered by Fenwick. They turn a 1-0 deficit into a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about right place, right time. Mulvihill took the page out of the York book, crashes the net, gets the rebound, and Riceley not able to stop it. Honestly, no chance to stop it. Really good job to tuck that around the back pad. Now Fenwick up by 2 all of a sudden. Got the #1 seed on the ropes here in Rosemont.
3rd goal on their 10th shot against Riceley. And the power play ends up being another short power play, but this time the way that they would prefer it to be short. Here's Caitlin Dill looking to respond, leaves it. Here's Scotty with a shot and fan on it. Maybe a good stick there from Mulvihill. Got in the way of that shooting lane. Now played back up to the right point. Here's Ledoux, getting it down low. Dill taken away by Lyric Bessie. Around the boards, but not out. DeZillo keeps it alive, left point. Moves it down below the line. And coming free with it is Fenwick, but just for a moment. Scotty gets it back. Scotty with a shot, and she scores! Her 2nd, and it's back to a 1-goal game.
I mean, these are the 2 players we've spent all evening talking about, Scotty and Romero. This time Scotty gets the better of Romero, gets her down into the butterfly, and right as she drops to her knees, tucked over the upper shoulder, and Scotty's got her 2nd goal of the contest. Just an outstanding effort. Now I can add another one. All 5 of York's playoff goals scored by Ella Scotty.
Man, I'll tell you what, this is gonna be a good look. You can see Romero does get her blocker up there, but just a touch too late.
Yeah.
And Sam has to retreat and continue announcing the Fenwick goal as York responds exactly 50 seconds later. Now this one thrown to the net. An easy save by Romero. Brought out by Fenwick. He'll deflect this one into the zone. Close. Gave it to Scotty. Scotty's taken down. That's going to be a penalty. Both officials put their arm in the air. And now York will have a chance on the power play. Eventful start to this 3rd period.
Yeah, we talk sometimes about how the ice sometimes shifts and it feels like it's tilted in one direction or the other, and York has certainly got the ice back in their favor. They've got the crowd back on their side as well. Just scored a goal to cut the deficit to 1. Now go on an advantage here to potentially square things up. And you can be sure Scotty will be a part of it as she takes the draw.
And Anthony, no protective netting here at Rosemont Ice Arena. I don't see any problem with getting a hat down there on the ice for these fans. We'll see what happens. Here's a shot, that one stopped, and the rebound is cleared by Fenwick quickly.
Would you toss the headset?
Oh, I think we're going to need it for the 2nd game. At Glenbrook and New Trier coming up right after this one. Estimated start time is 8:25 Central. Here comes Caitlin Dill. Rolled off her stick. It's cleared out to the neutral zone. Here's Mackey. Going across, and now Sophia Berg comes across the line. Right wing side being hounded by 2 Friars. York on the power play here. And Fenwick will clear. They call an icing, but that is a mistake. You see all kinds of humans in the rink, on the bench, and in the stands alike going palms up, but you're allowed to send it all the way down on a shorthanded penalty kill, but That's just an honest mistake by the linesman. He'll drop it at center ice, but that's tough to do that in the state semi.
Yeah, obviously the drop at center ice doesn't favor or hurt anybody. I guess in theory it saves York about 10 seconds or so to get it back to that neutral ice area. But it looks like no harm done after the draw.
Scotty will bring it across the line. Scotty leaves it. Here's a shot. That one just goes wide. Dill far side. Picked back off by Fenwick. And here comes Kate Mulvihill. Mulvihill with a goal early in this period. Taken back by Berg, and she'll send it back out to the neutral zone. Fenwick knocks it in. Still some time remaining on the kill. Dill gets tripped up. That's going to be a penalty. If you're York, you should just give this away. As much time as you can on the 5-on-3. Now far side, they'll rule possession here. And York is going to have 29 seconds to work with, 2 players up.
Yeah, really tough for Fenwick, especially because I think they were trying to argue that Mulvihill had gotten tripped prior. She was late to respond to the play.
Fenwick number 9, tripping.
So there we get the official call on the tripping, but Mulvihill was down here on the near side corner because she had been crashed down to the ice, so they essentially were going 5-on-3 for a moment, and then Dill commits the penalty, or excuse me, Bovary commits the penalty, tripping up Dill, and we have ourselves a 5-on-3 for almost 30 seconds.
In this great sport of hockey, you only get 1 timeout per game. You have to use it wisely. And I can't think of a better time for Ryan Walls to call his right now to draw something on the 5-on-3.
Honestly, it'd be a good time for either of these two coaches to use it. Fenwick could be talking about strategy, how they're going to handle this 5-on-3. But Rory, you're down there at ice level. We've had a really busy start to this third period. What are you seeing and hearing?
Team, when talking to their head coach, he mentioned that they just need to play more loose, be themselves, that they have the confidence, that they know they can win this game. They just need more traffic on net. Now, they weren't deterred by that opening goal by Fenwick, and we'll see how they handle this on a 5-on-3.
Fenwick, you know, we hear it a lot here on the SHL network. I think Rudy Hodgson and Wes Anderson have kind of cemented this as like the goaltenders, that your best penalty killer is the goaltender. Well, this is a ginormous spot here for Mikey Romero.
Mikey Romero, just 2 blemishes on a really impressive night for her.
We've talked about her size. She's not the tallest, so she likes to come out of her net to kind of cut down the angle, make herself look bigger. Obviously, you don't want to do that too much here on the 5-on-3 because you don't want to give York any space to get rebounds to an open net. So we'll see how she handles it. She's already a little bit out of her net to start this penalty.
The big guns out there for York. Here's Mackey up top. Shot gets blocked. Bounces right to Dill. Dill at the right point. Cuts to the high slot. Finds a lane. Takes a shot looking for the 5-hole, but that gets stopped. Rebound picked back up by the Dukes. In the slot, here's another shot, this time by Berg. And blocked by the stick of Fenwick. They'll clear it out.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just going to say it's looking like York is trying to put 2 bodies in front of Romero on this advantage, and Romero using her stick to kind of poke at the players to get out of her way. An interesting battle to keep an eye on down there.
And a big clear there by Fenwick just as the penalty expires. So now we're back to a regular 5-on-4 power play. Look out here, it's Mulvihill. Instead of crashing the net, she'll just retreat and then dump it right back in and kill more time on this PK. Chalberg finds some space, takes a shot, and Risley with the save. Whoa.
Yeah, wow. I mean, a really, really savvy veteran play from Mulvihill to get the puck, decide not to go 1-on-3 and just waste some time. But then coming away with a chance there was Chalberg, wraps it kind of right in front, gets herself to the slot with virtually no defense. But a nice save there by Risley.
10:30 left, plenty of time here in the third. Face-off taken by the Friars. Play it back out to the neutral zone, and this is Rose. Going across, Bessie. Off the near boards and tipped along, but intercepted by Riley Hess. Hess brings it back across. Still lots of time on this York power play, but talk about a really impressive penalty kill here by Fenwick, making sure basically nothing gets going for York. This one's played up top. Scotty knocked away from the puck, and Mulvihill will grab it back for the Friars. She's a bit tied up. Fans want a call. They're not going to get one.
What a kill for Mulvihill.
Look out. That hits a player on the York bench, and see the referee on the near side. He thought about calling too many players on the ice, but
could have.
Not. I mean, that's a pretty textbook one. You're obviously allowed to change mid-play, but can't be on the ice for more than a couple of seconds, and if the puck touches anyone in the changing process, that's usually a pretty easy one for the official.
Absolutely, but I guess for Fenwick, at least they're able to get back to even strength here.
9 minutes to go. Here's a shot. Knuckling on its way towards Romero's net. She hangs on to it.
Yeah, see, that was a tough one for Fenwick because I feel like they had reasonable argument for the, I guess you would call it, hooking there on Mulvihill coming around the net. Potentially the too many players on the ice as well. So if you're Fenwick, you're thinking, yeah, we just killed a 5-3. We have some momentum, but we reasonably could be on the power play right now. But a few calls didn't really go their way there.
State semifinals here in Rosemont. Winner of this game advances to the championship this coming Sunday at Allstate Arena. You can get tickets at chicagowolves.com/state championships. A ticket for the girls game on Sunday at 12 will also get you into the Wolves game later that same night. Doubleheader at Allstate. Now knocked ahead by Fenwick. Regained by Julia Madkey. Madkey gets around a few bodies. Now comes through the neutral zone. Finds some space. Madkey, the defenseman leading the charge. Tried a shot, but a Fenwick stick gets in the way now. Right and close. Here's a shot, and it's held onto by Romero. And now some pushing and shoving after the play.
Yeah, that was Lyric Bessie getting right in the mix of it. I think initially started as just trying to defend Romero and get everybody away from her, but you'll have a good look at it here. There was the first one, but then it was kind of an old vintage high school tabletop over the netminder. Here's Madkey, goes spilling down over the netminder.
Well, Rory, you were right there. What'd you see?
Guys, it is getting chippy. I think Bessie's going to be heading into the box. Right, yeah, there she goes. She shoved a York player right into Romero at the end of that. The refs did not like that action by her. She's been throwing some hits all game, and I think it's just starting to reach a high point. About 8 minutes left in the third.
And that's one thing we've talked about, Dylan, that one of the biggest differences from the boys game to the girls game is that the girls aren't allowed to lay those body checks the way that they are allowed to in the boys game. And that obviously wasn't, a hip check or anything like that. That was just a straight up push into the net after the play. So York gets rewarded with another power play, but let's see if they can take advantage this time.
That's Lyric Bessie's second trip to the penalty box here tonight. York back to the power play, but a great kill by Fenwick the last 2 times. Ella Scotty now down to the circle, played back off the boards by Vogel up top. DeZillo getting it back is Scotty, trying to get around one, but could not. Look out, here comes Fenwick shorthanded. Kate Mulvihill puts on the brakes, now back for Boveri. We'll try and send a shot down, but it's intercepted. Here comes Dill. Caitlin Dill down the left wing side, fires away, and just sizzles past the net. No save needed there for Romero. Now here comes Fenwick again, shorthanded Boveri. Couldn't get around 3 green sweaters, and Berg brings it back the other direction.
The pace on this penalty feels like NHL 3-on-3.
Berg won a move and then lost the stick, goes crashing into the net, but I don't think that one was intentional. Rose sort of just lost her footing. And I don't think we're going to get a penalty here.
Also, you mentioned that. It just got me thinking on this side of things, Risley's net has not come dislodged so far in this period. So maybe it did have a lot to do with that snow build up late in that second frame.
I'll tell you what, we haven't been saying her name much to go hand in hand with that. A lot of action has been down to our left.
Good point.
And this is where the extra time really comes to benefit York. In a normal game in the regular season with 13-minute periods instead of 15, we're down to our final minute of play, but instead, we've got 7 entire minutes here for the Dukes to make something happen.
And this York team has about 5 or 6 more players on the bench than Fenwick does.
Wunderlich goes across to the far side circle. Still shorthanded is Fenwick. This one back up to the point. Here's a shot. That one has a lot of speed on it, but Chalberg missed it high. Now Rose runs into Dill, and she's hurting. And that'll stop play. No penalty was called, but Caitlin Dill, face first on the ice, has barely moved a muscle.
It didn't feel like a deliberate hit. It just felt like 2 bodies crashing toward the puck. But Dill went down hard, just getting back to her feet now. Good to see her back on the ice. The trainer didn't quite even get there before she got to her skates. But she certainly looks like she's in some pain right now.
While she's laboring, it's always good when they don't need that help to get back to the bench at the very least. We'll see if we see number 16 again in this game, but she's been out there a lot. Key member of this York team.
And one of the players that was a part of that Fenwick squad last year. So trying to get to her first state championship as a senior. 12 goals, 12 assists on the year. A couple of playoff points as well.
Assisted one of Scotty's goals in that quarterfinal as well.
Obviously,
6:24 to go in the third. Go ahead, Anthony.
Zoe Rose was on the other end of that hit. She obviously was all right immediately, but like you said, no penalty was called on that play, which I think is important to note that the officials viewed that as just a hockey play and not as a hit.
Face-off win for York in their defensive end. With all this offensive zone time for Fenwick, you forget that there's still a power play going on for the Dukes. 15 more seconds. As here comes Ellie Close on the left wing side, taken away from her by Claire Chalberg. Chalberg looking to get that out to Boveri. Deflects and nearly picked off by the Dukes, but now Boveri will send it in. Penalty is over, and we're back to 5-on-5. The score remains Fenwick 3, York 2. Here's Mulvihill now. Near side, Wunderlich, taken back by Close. And now to Zillow. Backhands it along out to the neutral zone. And in. By the way, folks, we still got some time, but don't go anywhere after the game. We're going to hear from Rory Whetstone and one of the players on the winning team in our post-game interview, which is sponsored by Loyola Hockey. This is also the third period, by the way, and third periods are sponsored by Glenbrook North Hockey here on the SHL Network. This shot by Riley Hess is stopped by Romero up and into the protective netting for a whistle.
Yeah, tough stop there, and obviously it deflected all the way up and out of play. Romero was in the right spot, cut off the angle, and limited the rebound. I think it came all the way up by her shoulder.
York has been in control of this game in almost any category you can think of except for the goals. 25-12. A big disparity in shots. A little closer here in the third, 6-3, but York still with the edge. As we're down to sub 5. Back up top, this one's sent low. Down below the line. Man taken down, that's going to be a penalty against Fenwick.
I think that's Bessie again.
Yeah, and laboring to get off now is Sophia Berg. Let's hear the call.
7 Fenwick, tripping.
tripping was the call, but it looked, I thought it was more of like a cross-check right in front of the net.
Yeah, you can see the confusion here from Bessie, too. She's shaking her head, kind of almost sarcastically smiling, laughing, saying, where's the call there, ref?
Yeah, that's her third trip to the penalty box now, and with less than 5 minutes to play, you have to wonder if at any point during this power play, is York going to potentially think about making it 6-on-4 to try to get that game-tying goal, because at this point, there's 4 minutes and 44 seconds left in their season, if not.
Anthony, it's a great point. However, you must remember they've already burned their one and only timeout, as this one is deflected right in front. But
Yeah.
They had some time going on the 5-on-3. By the way, just meanwhile, you can see Caitlin Dill doing some concussion protocol testing, following the finger with her eyes, the classic test. So
A lot to watch for in the last 4.5.
should be a big part of this comeback push if she can return to this game. And obviously, want these players' safety as the top concern. Here's Ella Scotti, sitting on 2 tonight. Takes a lap behind the net and fans on the shot, gets it back, and a whistle. And the net is off again, and the York fans are letting them hear it. Caitlin Dill does return to the ice, which is a great sign.
Yeah, I don't have as good of a view. I don't know, Rory, if you saw it a little bit better, how that net came off this time around.
I honestly, in the heat of the chaos, didn't even notice. It didn't seem like it popped off that much. Clearly, it was enough to grab the ref's attention. They just piled some snow around it, so hopefully it doesn't happen again.
And you know, for the York fans, the whistle goes with Ella Scotti kind of finding herself a lane to shoot. Here's a wraparound try, and that one is stopped. They know the weight of this moment, and that's a tough time for the net to come off. Here comes Fenwick shorthanded. 2-on-1. This pass across, intended for Mulvihill. She'll have to play it off the boards.
Yeah, right idea. Mulvihill just a step behind that on the break. You got to remember Fenwick's shorthanded, so they got to make sure they defend as well.
Now Scotti comes across the line down the right wing side. Scotti wraps around herself, tries the shot. Gonna bank that one in off Romero, but no luck. And Fenwick is able to clear it again. Down to 55 seconds to go in the power play. 3.5 to go in regulation. York on the ropes as the #1 seeded team. This one sent all the way down for an icing, and you think about the 3 high school varsity brackets in the state of Illinois. St. Viator, the #1 seed, they proved it and won state. BGHW, the combined #1 seed, they won the state championship. Now York on the ropes here.
They absolutely are, and that's a really hard icing to take. You never want to ice the puck when you have an advantage of amount of players. Now there's a D-zone draw for the team that's 1 player up, and Fenwick can continue to waste some time.
Now right in front, Scotti brings it ahead. She's seen a lot of ice here in this late third period. Ella Scotti. She's taken off her stick, and Fenwick will get it back. Natalie Pazdo looking for a lane to send it the length. She cannot. Scotti keeps it alive, left side half boards. Battling for it, and down and in. Picked up by Fenwick's Schallberg. She'll try and clear. Instead, she plays it to the near side. Tapping her stick on the ice on the other side is Riceley to let her teammates know the power play's coming to an end. We're down to 2:40 here in the third period. Vogel up for York. Gets this one ahead, over the line, fires a shot. Bit of a knuckle puck. Looked like it had eyes in the top right corner, a little bit from our vantage point, Anthony, but does go wide.
Yeah, I just taking a look at the bench. Scotti went to the bench probably for the last time, I would imagine, in this game. They're going to want her back on the ice as soon as possible as they look for the tying goal.
Now Mulvihill, puck rolled on her, and Gorski brings it ahead for the Dukes. Gorski over the line. Around 1, right to the blue paint, looking for a tip on that one was Sophia Burr. 2 minutes to go, and still in her crease is Emma Riceley. Puck played out to the neutral zone and sent in.
Keeping an eye on Coach Walls to see when he makes the move. So far, still hasn't. Now under 2 minutes to play. Doesn't even look like Riceley's looking for that at the moment.
Yeah, a bit surprising there. Now a York player taken down, and they're gonna head to the power play once again. And if there was ever a time to pull her, offensive zone face-off incoming. You can make it another 6-on-4. Let's hear the call.
Fenwick 27, King, 2-minute minor.
So going to the box is Madison Straukas.
I gotta say, so far I think Fenwick is gonna use a timeout here, and I would not be surprised because they want their best unit out there and they are reasonably tired, but I would also understand if maybe Coach Strom doesn't want to give York enough time to discuss this.
Because you give them a timeout too.
Exactly. I saw the assistant coach look to Strom and make the timeout motion, and Strom waved him off.
A bit surprising as they don't go with the empty net yet. This one far side, Fenwick will clear it all the way down. Riceley has to retreat back to her net, stops that one, and here is Caitlin Dill. Time winding down on the potential York season. Riceley getting ready for the signal. Dill will bring it into the zone. Over the line, right wing side. She stays in her crease. Ella Scotty wraps around the net. Scotty near side, goes across. Right circle, Dill with a shot, and that just goes past the net. As it's played out to the neutral zone again, Scotty chases after it. And now Riceley gets the nod. York gonna have 6 attackers out there. Here's a wraparound try, centered and a shot. That gets blocked, net's off, that's a good pickup. They fix it in the mid-play, and now they do blow the whistle as it comes off again. Boy, Jimmy, if we can see a replay of how this net comes off, because it came off initially, then they fixed it, or at least they thought they did. Romero didn't believe that it was fully back in its pegs, and so she pushes it off.
Romero's wise to the sense that if it's off a little bit, make it dramatic so that they see it and stop it. Now Fenwick is going to use the timeout. I like this one. Get that top unit some rest so they can go back out there, but it's happened so much that you have to at least raise an eyebrow about how it keeps happening on that side of the ice only. Reasonably, York is frustrated by it, especially in a situation like that where they are on an advantage, a 2-player advantage now because a goaltender gets pulled and their chance is kind of stifled in the middle of it because of a whistle. But Rory, you're close to the action. What are you hearing down there?
Yeah, it's close to the action. Fenwick trying to pull this out in the final 25 seconds. Seems like they're just trying to regroup, focus on the fundamentals, be able to clear the puck out of the zone. Now with these final 25 seconds, there's a lot to do, a lot on the line, so we'll see what they can come up with.
And that's what comes with being shorthanded in this spot. You are 2 players down, but you can just fire away at that empty net, and if you miss, it's not called an icing because you're shorthanded. So that's a lot of time you kill right in that moment, especially in a situation like this, 24.7. You make that clear with 15 seconds left. York might just not have enough time.
Right, and for York, this is the biggest face-off of the game. It is so important for the Dukes to win this draw and start putting the pressure on Riceley, because you only have 25 seconds to get a goal past Romero here. That is all the time you have. You absolutely need to win this draw.
We'll see how this regulation ends. Right circle face-off, won cleanly by the Dukes. Up top, play to the near side. Here's a shot by Madkey, just deflected wide. Caitlin Dill now with 16 seconds. Centers it to the slot. Mulvihill picks it off and clears it. No icing here. York has to hurry. 10 on the clock. Madkey takes a lap around the empty net. Skates down the right wing side through the neutral zone. She steps across onside, fires a shot, deflected wide, and the Fenwick Friars are going to the state championship. A big kill on the 6-on-4 at the very end, and they hang on as the seeded underdog. and take down the #1 York Dukes. And they will have another game this season.
What a game, what a game. So impressive for Fenwick, who their best players a season ago are now wearing green sweaters. It is so impressive that they were able to respond, build a team that is not only good enough to beat a team that features some of their old players, but to get to a state championship. You see Coach Strom talking with a lot of the players who he coached for the first 3 years of their varsity career. But today, it's Fenwick getting the best of York, and they'll go to the state championship.
25 saves on 27 shots for Mikey Romero. Don't go anywhere. We're going to send it down to Rory here momentarily as the handshake lines finish up out there, and a really gutsy win here for Fenwick, a team that was on the verge of folding because of losing too many players to this York team. I think revenge has been served against the Dukes, no doubt about that.
I think they're quite happy that they were able to fold. Shout out to Pamela Flores, who was able to put this in motion to get Conant and Schaumburg included, 4 players representing those schools, 2 players apiece, that kind of fill out this roster that featured 8 players from this York team that unfortunately has their season end today. But Fenwick marches on. What a performance in net. Outstanding from Romero, who was Riceley's backup a year ago. Just a great story through and through with this Fenwick Friars team.
And you can see a lot of York Dukes and a lot of Fenwick Friars at center ice. Bit more than just a handshake after the game. We will now send it down to Rory Whetstone, who is with the goaltender herself, Mikey Romero.
Congratulations on the win. You faced 27 shots on goal, made 25 saves. What allowed you to stay composed all night?
I don't know, just I had fun.
You talk about having fun. This team looks like they're having fun. You kill off a penalty the final 2 minutes, but Barry with a huge block for you. Just tell me, how did your team help you tonight?
They they send the puck down when I need it, like on the penalty kill, and yeah.
Talking to your coach before the game, he said you guys almost didn't field a team this season. Now you're heading to the state championship. What does this moment mean to you and the girls?
So much. I'm so excited.
All right, thank you so much. Congrats again. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Rory. Well, Mikey Romero and the rest of the Fenwick Friars are heading to the state championship. You can get your tickets at chicagowolves.com/state championships. That game will be on Sunday this week, March 15th at noon at the great and beautiful professional stadium, Allstate Arena. Who will the Fenwick Friars be playing? Well, we're going to have the answer to that question by the end of the night. Glenbrook and New Trier getting ready to be the second game here of our doubleheader on SHL Network. We've got the call for you for that one, and I'm sure a lot of the Friars are going to stick around the barn here and do some scouting ahead of that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that that game is able to live up to what we just saw here. But Romero, maybe a few words, but certainly had many saves tonight. She certainly powered this Fenwick team to what goes down seeding-wise as an upset. And now they're going to play for a state championship. Kudos to that Friars squad.
So that's going to do it for us, at least for Game 1 here at Rosemont Ice Arena. For our entire crew, Matt Freeman, our camera operator, Jimmy the Wiz Olson, our great technical engineer and video producer, Rory Whetstone down at ice level with the interviews and other interesting tidbits throughout the game, Anthony Pasquale to my right. My name's Dylan Ward saying we appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Monday night. One more time, the final. The Fenwick Friars 3 and the York Dukes 2 in regulation. We will see you on Sunday, right back here on SHL Network for the championship against Glenbrook or New Trier.